Hello, ladies and gentlemen. DrBrilmann here again, as always, and this is Shoutcasting LEC 2021 Summer Split, Week 1, Day 1. We have Astralis against SK. We've been just covering G2 against Mad Lions previously. It was a banger of a game. And again, I'm not joined here by Solari today because this is basically a sort of a solo casting series, let me call it this way. A bit of a different expectation from that game, as Astralis didn't really perform in the previous split, and SK Gaming has a bit of a different roster this time. So let's see how is it going to play out already in the ban phase. We see Thrash, one of the best supports at the momentary state of the game. Renekton, Xinjiao right now just trying to pick off those sort of OP-ish characters. Renekton being a very incredibly strong top laner and also quite one of the best ones, I'd say, while Xinjiao also one of the best junglers at the moment, at the very least. That is before his W was nerfed a little bit in terms of cooldown. Lulu, a great support and a top laner. Gwen, just overall a little bit of an AP character, so there's nothing really to be surprised about over here that we see her being taken. And the last ban from SK will be, drum roll, Nocturne. Also a bit of a flex pick, so there's a possibility for everything really. You can go top, mid, jungle, whatever you actually please. And we already at the pick phase. Ezreal being just insta-locked almost for Jeskla. Incredibly strong champion, especially with a good poke, being answered with the Phelius that has a bit of a CC available to him, so that could be potentially a good answer, but it's going to be swapped to Kai'Sa, probably a bit of a more safest pick, really. A lot of damage on her own as well. Ability to move around Ezreal quite well because she has a lot of mobility, especially with her E and things like that. And of course the killer instinct itself. Nautilus, probably one of the most hard-hitting supports. Quite aggressive one as well, I'd say. So that would be something very interesting. Lee Sin, a bit of a flex pick. You can see both White Knight and Zanzara playing this champion, either in top or jungle role, so that's a bit of an open question for debate, I'd say. Hard to tell really, but I'd say it's quite open in this particular regard. Could be answered with something like thinking Xinjiao is already a Rumble, probably one of the most obvious things that I can think about. Of course, we're going to see how this thing's going to turn around. Leona, one of the, well, just sort of stable, very consistent supports. Pretty much a good way to answer Nautilus, as Leona is quite good at both engaging and disengaging from the fights. So that seems pretty good to me. Rumble, the one they've been talking about, even though Camille was sitting there for quite a long time, but Rumble, something that I'm not particularly surprised to see, as Rumble really has a lot of impact on the map. We've seen that in the previous game as well, so something not to be very surprised about. And back to the bans, Karma, probably in terms of a top laner, because we have support already, and Karma is pretty powerful top laner, I would say. We've seen Wunder doing some very good stuff on the Karma top, so I'm not particularly surprised about the ban. We yet don't have any mid laners. Potentially, we don't have a top laner for Astralis. Set going there in bans as well. A very good top laner. I have a feeling this actually might be White Knights, Lee Sin and Zanzara. We'll have to see. Silas going in there as a ban, a very hard-hitting mid laner, and that might give a potential opening for SK to go something like Lucian, Orianna, Syndra, a lot of options, maybe Zoe actually as well. There's a bit of a few options. Viego joins as the last ban for Astralis. Nothing really new in terms of bans, I'd say. pretty much of a standard-ish for meta Bumble. Loads of very powerful solo laners, loads of very powerful junglers, and potential solo laners. This is the Lucian we've been talking about. Without Silas, this is pretty much of a much easier, I'd say, laning phase for him. Needly joins the fray, so that is probably indeed White Knight's Lee Sin instead of Zanzara's, which is very interesting. Lee Sin top. I know it's been a thing. I haven't tried it myself yet. Oh no, okay, Needly is not going to go there. There's a Victor against Lucian. Again, tons of damage, hard hitting, and Trundle. Okay, so it is actually White Knight's Lee Sin. Okay, we know that for a matter of fact. Trundle into Rumble seems like a very fair trade because Trundle is also pretty much able to go around the map relatively nicely. Whoa, okay, that's Orianna. So that's going to be Lucian top. So SK turned this around just a little bit by saying, okay, you've picked Lee Sin top, we're going to pick Lucian top for Genix. So what does that mean? That means pretty much that White Knight's going to have a little bit of a trouble on the top lane. Basically because of the fact that the amount of damage that Lucian is able to produce, especially because of his passive in the earliest stages of the game, is going to be a bit of a problem for White Knight. I can tell you that much. And not exactly sure how well it depends. I guess it depends a little bit on Sonic waves from White Knight, if he's going to be able to find those good ways of initiation onto Genix or not. So we'll have to stick around to look into that. At position where we are right now, it seems like Astralis possessed tons of damage and tons of poke, so it's a bit of a poking composition with a very good meaning to engage. I'm looking at Lee Sin, I'm looking at Trumbull, while SK, they seem to have a lot. Well, first of all, they have a lot of ganking potential because of the equalizer, as we've seen again in the previous game with G2 against Mad Lions. We've seen that Rumble's ability to impact the map without being actually on the lane, but just being around because of the equalizer is extremely big. So we'll have to see how they're going to play it out. And also I'm looking at the amounts of very hard-hitting ultimates. Again, the equalizer, the shockwave, the culling, the depth charge. There's a lot of things in there that can give SK much more potential in the team fights, because it can either just destroy somebody with the snap of your fingers, or on the other hand, do something completely different and more or less help to play out the fight the way you want them to do. And we can see the LEC spring standings. We can see that SK Gaming finished at 6th place with 8 to 10, and Astralis at 9th with 6 to 12. Not exactly the best position to be in, so we'll have to stick around and see what will happen to both of the teams over here. Maybe not as much of a high expectation as for G2 against Mad Lions, but it's still interesting to see what both teams are going to be able to bring onto the table. So we'll see about that. Junglers are starting on the blue buffs respectively. Genix will be able to be on the lane a little bit faster than White Knights. Suppose it's not going to be a bit of a problem for him, but let's try to establish where is going to be this sort of a big fighting. Oh, Zanzara actually going in there quite deeper and being spotted on the ward. Not exactly the best of things to happen. I think that Treats is going to try and recognize that and either run. No, he's not actually going to do anything about it. They have probably spotted him, but I think that Treats is going to try to go into his enemy jungle to try and maybe steal the red buff from him. He's going to go for the Raptors, but Orianna is already here. Two Hoyers is already here. I think it's 2 hours, not 2 Hoyers, but anyway. And yes, we see Treats moving towards the bot side of the map. Maybe Astralis are going to be a little bit of a trouble. Promiscue going there quite deep actually, but there is a lot of CC coming onto him and an Ignite, and that means that Promiscue is going to be going down. Yes, that's a first blood for SK because of a very aggressive initiation from Astralis, and Magic Felix taking a lot of damage from 2 hours, and Treats might be actually on a mission to try and intercept him. Yes, there's a lot of damage going onto him already. Zanzara decides to go for a fight. There's going to be a good stun, and Jesus misses with the Hawk, even though he flashed forward to take one. And SK didn't really manage to pull this ambush off, but I think that Zanzara is coming up a little bit on top in terms of that, because he's going to be able to take his buff, while Rumble will be able to take the Scuttle Grab. But the first blood going for SK, especially for Treats, that's a bit of a bigger win for SK, because overall, a lot of damage onto Rumble, meaning that there's much more opportunity to work well for him in terms of going into those ganks with the killing potential and the ganking potential. Especially, I'm looking at that again. I'm looking at the equalizer here. So we'll have to see what's the thing about that. Teleports are available for everybody. Zanzara is going to just take his Scuttle Crab, and I'm going to see some stats from Treats. And White Knight actually going there on to Genix. Not going to be the most favorable trades, but still manages to pick a good one. Zanzara might be looking to go a little bit deeper. No, he thinks that he's going away. Also been spotted on the wall, so there's nothing really particularly good about sticking there for a longer period of time. And right now, both of the teams seem to go pretty much toe-to-toe, with a little bit of a difference into 800 gold towards SK because of that first blood, and also some CS advantages, just a little. But mostly that's because of the kill and 2 assist picked up. Oh, White Knight going in there again. Actually, Zanzara maybe looking for a very long initiative fight, but I think he was spotted there. I think he was spotted there when he was going to the bush. He's going to channel back. White Knight looking to try to pursue the fight. And now I think my fellow casters from LEC are talking about jungle pathing of Zanzara. Not sure what they was on here about, but they definitely highlighted something. And Treats might be actually looking to try and go for the gang. Jesus, let's hit his level 3. That's going to be a route onto Promiscue. But there is an immediate 2 teleports actually going from top laners, respectively. 4 teleports being burnt already. Jesus, in the meantime, going down relatively quickly. Magic Felix is already here. So is White Knight. So is 2 hours. And so is Genix. But here comes Zanzara as well. That means it's 4 on 5. And not in the favor of Ski. Astralis managed to turn this fight around actually a little bit and take the kill. Although burning 2 teleports, Genix might be in trouble actually here. Zanzara manages to knock him up just a little bit. White Knight looking for a Sonic Wave, didn't manage to hit one. And the Cloud Drake actually stands, and I think that Astralis might be interested to try and take that one, because you don't really want to give that to the enemy team, I'd say. Especially with the amounts of global ultimates in there. SK going onto Magic Felix. That's a very, very aggressive flash from Treats, and the culling is going to do enough damage for Jesus to pick up the kill. Okay, maybe a support needed that kill just a little bit more than Genix. I think that was a little bit of a miscommunication from the teams, and White Knight actually might be in trouble right now. But Genix doesn't have his ultimate. Treats is not going way too close for having an ultimate of his own. Zanzara steals the Scuttle Crab and hits level 5. That means he can actually force a fight here, but 2 hours is already here. A Shockwave is available for him. He just hit his level 6, and Zanzara recognizes the amount of control and the damage from Orianna and decides to pull away. Probably the smartest decision in this particular instance. Treats taking his Raptors, hits level 5. Zanzara might be looking still for a fight, or maybe look for a good gank on the top lane. Genix recognizes the fact that there might be somewhere in the bush. Didn't find anybody though. Treats still there. Is he going to go use the Blast Cone? Maybe not. He sees the red buff. He's going to try and steal it. And this is a little bit of a tricky situation for both of the junglers. I'm not sure if Zanzara will be able to secure the buff in case Genix is going to go there. But here comes Lee Sin. Treats recognizes immediately that Zanzara is still somewhere around here and decides to just withdraw, while White Knight uses the Blast Cone not to do anything else but just to use it. Better not give that to any enemies. Okay, let's try to recapitalize on what is happening over here. So, SK managed to pick up a kill after a disastrous fight for them at the bot lane. They are almost in 1,000 gold lead. They didn't extend it that much. They've been previously talking about only 200 goals. CS wise, absolutely amazingly enough. Zanzara takes the blue buff from Magic Phoenix. That stinks a little. Anyway, White Knight is not falling behind that much against Lucian that I thought he's going to, but Zanzara is falling behind quite hard here. Cheats is going to look to take that dragon. This is going to be the first dragon for SK and the first dragon of the game, and it's not exactly the kind of dragon I think you'd want to actually let slip, but I suppose whatever. And a lot of gold funneling into Jeskla as he has the same amount of CS as Jesu does, but he has a kill over... Ooh, immediately recognize the danger. Here comes the equalizer I've been talking about. An immediate flash answered by Jeskla with a flash of his own. Manages to get himself to the safety. That means that there's not going to be another gank happening on the bot lane. Jesu has an opportunity to just farm a little bit as... both bot laners are going to withdraw, but Leona decides to go and roam a little bit. Zanzara takes the Herald into his hands. The dragon is going down. Trishul Brush was fired already. I didn't quite spot where was it fired, if it was on the dragon or not, but the dragon is going to Team SK. That's a Cloud Drake, so that works. Zara already hit his level 6 as well, so he's at least somewhat trying to catch up with his adversary over here. And pretty much right now it's just going to be a little bit of a showdown. This Herald is actually pretty huge for Astralis. I think it's a little bit better for them than... I think it's a little bit better for them than actually taking the Cloud Drake. Because even though, yes, the Cloud Drake is a big thing to give, especially to a team that has a composition with such amount of very important ultimates, but nevertheless, the Herald will give Astralis an opportunity to close in the gap in terms of gold. They are falling behind with a bit more than 1,000 already. Excuse me for that little blunder over here, but still, they're falling behind a little bit more than 1,000 already. And that means that they need to try and fish for some kind of a good position to throw in the Herald so that they can close the gap and make it a little bit more viable for them. Zanzara is going to spot a ward here, recognize that, and he's going to turn his attention somewhere else. I'm not precisely sure that he's able to drop the Heralds right now, although half of the Heralds is already expired. So Astralis need to try and find for a better spot for the Herald to work. And Genix is pretty much successfully freezes the lane for himself. Treats is already here at the bot lane again. And is he going to hug the wall enough? I think he will. Jesu manages to... Yes. Treats is not actually going anywhere yet. He's going to get spotted. Yes, he's going to get spotted. But here comes a good hook, but immediately answered by the Killer Instinct and the Depth Charge onto Jeskla. Jeskla is going to die. He's going to die. Yes, Treats picks up the kill, but here's another 2 teleports, and Zanzara is already here. White Knight... No, that's Magic Felix, not White Knight. And Genix is already here. White Knight didn't use his teleport still. Zanzara tries to pick up a little bit of a fight, and the Evictor's ultimate not going to go to get Jesu down. So SK pull the same trick again. This time it works out for them and not for Astralis, as White Knight picks up a little bit of gold here at the top lane and uses this opportunity to funnel a little bit more resources into himself, while Genix is actually farming on the bot lane quite successfully. Ooh, there's a teleport. Trundle is going in. Zanzara is trying to catch him. He's going to do that. Airborne. Here comes a flash, but a dragon kick and a lot of damage coming from that. Lee Sin not going to save him. Dies. Kill goes to White Knight. Answered by Astralis, so they managed to make it a little bit more even. Even gold-wise, the 1,000 gold gap has been there for quite a longer amount of time, and a Herald being also put at the bot lane. 5 plates, so that's going to be a huge Herald for Jeskler. He's going to receive a lot of gold out of that. Probably even going to take maybe a few more, while Jezu and Jesus are going to take few as well on the top lane. But Astralis are already there to try and answer. Maybe there's going to be something big happening, maybe not. Treats is in his top side of the jungle as well, so that means if there's going to be a potential team fight, he will be able to react on it as fast as he can. Jezu and Jesus not interested to go anywhere out of the top lane, and Treats actually might be looking for a tower dive of his own. Spotted a ward over here, but there's going to be another ward waiting in the tri-bush for him as well. So I'd say that's not exactly the best idea to tower dive, especially Elise, and has his flash available, doesn't have the dragon kick. Oh, Promise Q onto a very good stun. Here comes the solar flare as well. Another stun, a lot of CC coming on to Jesus. Is he going to get out of there? And maybe not. Shockwave and 2 hours actually picks up Promise Q before Jesus was taken down by Astralis. Brilliantly played by SK yet again, and that's something we've been talking about in terms of this team fight potential from SK. Even though there's a lot of CC on Astralis' part, the amount of good working champions and good working kits around the team fights is just better for SK than it is for Astralis. So that's basically showed up right now, as Astralis wasn't able to pick up Jesus in time, partially I would say because of the amount of shields coming from 2 hours, and of course the shockwave that sort of denied Promise Q to use any more of CC. Astralis is going to probably try to push top lane again, as there's going to be a second Drake for SK. Trees are going to take it uncontested because they don't have any problems with the mid or bot lane respectively, as this is going to be a Infernal Soul. This is interesting. Infernal Soul for both of the teams. Promise Q going there aggressively yet again. Zanzara is going to be spotted probably on this ward, and he's taken this Herald. So I wonder if SK is going to try to deny that Herald from Astralis. Probably not going to do that. No, they decide to just give it in. They've got the 2 Drakes. It's already good. The last Herald, even though it was pretty much of a good use for... never mind, hold that thought, as they say. Treat's looking for a good equalizer. Maybe he's going to use it, maybe not. No, he decides not to use it because they respect the fact that White Knight is going to be able to fight back with relative success. Also Dragon Kick, also the Flash. So he has basically everything in his kit to maybe even 2v1 the tower dive. Maybe that would be enough damage, but also the Gore Drink are going to give him a lot of healing. So it's better to respect the amount of damage that he's able to put. While I was speaking, 2 hours have taken the first, not Drake, but the turret, sorry. The turret, rather. Oh, Jezu might be in a little bit of... no, not Jezu, but Jeska might be in a bit of a trouble because Jesus is already here. But nothing's going to happen. Trishul Barrage is going to hit him just a little bit, but not that much. And another turret being answered, actually, respectively. But it's not going to be the first one. That's an important part. And both teams are trying to concentrate on the side lanes, as Astralis is trying to deny the push from SK on the top lane, while Astralis themselves are trying to take some goods on the bot lane. They managed to take the tower, so that seems to be pretty much a win situation. We have it's 1.5 plus minus gold difference. Again, Astralis in a little bit of a deficit, but I think that with the fact that SK just have so much team fighting potential, it's pretty much of a win for them to be able to hold their ground as good as they did already. So it's pretty much, in my eyes, and now just about waiting for a good way to start a fight. They have a lot of poke. They can poke their opponent down because you have Jeskla that can poke Jezu, that can poke Janex. A lot of people actually in there, also Treats. You have White Knight and Zanzara. They can make a very powerful initiation, and you have Victor that, in case left unchecked, can do a lot of damage. So that's pretty much something that you would need. Also Leona with a very good initiation tool of her own. I think it's pretty much looking for Astralis rather nicely, in terms that the longer they hold on, the harder they're going to hit. and probably 2 hours is going to experience, or maybe not, because here comes Jesus and Treats respectively. This Herald is not going to do a lot of damage for SK, going to take a bit of a chunk from a mid turret, but that's going to be it. Jezo is actually still on a pursuit, manages to hit him with a OW. Killer Instinct not used because he recognizes the fact that fighting Zanzaro one-on-one might be not the best of the ideas, but SK are on the pursuit. Jezo scarce. Zanzaro away, Jezu and Jesus again, although on the pursuit. He didn't recognize the fact that Jesus was already here. Managed to hit with the hook. Jezu taking a bit of a damage, but Zanzara has to flash away over the wall in order not to die. And here comes a kill onto Zanzara after Killer Instinct used by Jezu. Again, brilliantly played by SK, recognizing the fact that Trundle did not respect the amount of damage from that Kai'Sa, and also, I guess, the CC from Nautilus. Not sure how did he pick up the kill. I think Ignite was used. Yes, it was. So the last tick must have taken... Oh, the red buff, actually. The red buff might have taken him. That might be the case. As we were just speaking about the gold differences and things like that, not turning way too much into Astralis' favor. Almost 3,000 gold difference. 40 seconds until the Infernal Drake is going to be spawned, so that's something that you have to keep in mind, because if Astralis are not going to fight for this, is the sole point for SK. So Astralis are basically forced to fight for that because this is an Infernal Drake. Not exactly sure how they will be able to turn this one around now, because SK have a lot of team fighting tools on their hands right now, while Astralis need to try and look for a good initiation for Jeskla and Magifelix to just put as much damage as they can into Jezu, into 2 hours, into Janex. There's lots of hard-hitting targets in SK, so you have to prioritize what do you want more and what do you want less. Magifelix actually going to get spotted because he gets out. Hook doesn't hit, but Sonic Wave did hit. Ezreal was going to be spotted because he used his Q, and Astralis just take the Drake for them. The vision difference just works for Astralis much better in here. They're going to take this dragon, they're going to deny the soul point for SK, which just recognize, okay, you want it, you take it, we don't really care. We're going to go and start the Baron, because why not? They're going to be spotted because of a true shot barrage. I think SK have to retreat at this moment, but Baron's going down actually very quickly. 4,000, 3,000 already. Zanzara trying to go there as soon as possible, but he's not going to be able to do that in time. White Knight onto pursuit. Here comes a brilliant dragon kick onto Jezu. Jezu is actually going down. Magifelix is going to fight with Treats as the rest of the team chase the rest of the team respectively. Treats is going down. That's a shutdown. A very big one for Astralis as they're looking to find more kills. Sonic Wave onto Jesus. He's going down as Promiscu tanks the turret. Baron Blade didn't turn out to be as good as promised for SK, despite the fact they took it. Only 2 hours and Genex are left to tell the tale, and Astralis just found the initiation they needed. The Equalizer going a little bit wild, and you can see onto replay just how well White Knight used his kit. Again, nothing to be... nothing way too hard to pull off, although you could have easily misclicked there because of the body block. I would say so. I'm Elysian made it myself. But still, just how well recognized for him. Use the teleport, use the flash, use the vault, everything in his power to just go and take as much as he can from the fight, and they just successfully do that again. And Magifelix finally started to hit like a tank. Genex actually might be in trouble right here. Gonna get by Zanzara and a lot of damage. There's a flash and an equalizer. Zanzara is actually going down quite a lot, but here comes a dragon kick onto Treats. Treats might be caught in there, goes golden in order not to die, but here comes the calling and the rest of Team SK. I think there was a equalizer, not an equalizer, I'm sorry, the Sonic Wave, yes it was, but both Treats and Zanzara are, not Zanzara, but White Knight are going down. So does Promiscu though. SK win this fight much better than the previous one, because I suppose they were ready to hold on for a little bit longer. SK might be actually to look to pursue just a little bit more, as Jezu is going to continue on to pushing mid lane. They have to bring 2 hours in Genex in here in order to buff the minions just a little bit more, although they might turn their attention to the top lane. Just going to farm everything that they have in the enemy jungle, and they're not going to decide to push and use the Baron buff, as they're just going to turn away. Again, that's something, I suppose, a little bit of a sort of going back and forth, because as you can see here, Genix was caught in here just a little, recognizes the amount of trouble he is in, and uses his flash a little bit prematurely. Oh, never mind, actually, Zanzara might be caught in there. Teleport used onto mid lane, and I think as we're looking for the replay, I think there's going to be, no, there's not going to be a fight just yet, but keep yourself ready for that. Ultimate by Magic Felix actually picks up treats, but the amount of damage coming from 2 hours was enough to pick a double kill for himself. You can see the total gold as well, and I'd say that this a little bit better in terms of, Zanzara actually going to get caught as I was looking at the graph. He's going to go down relatively quickly, but Jesus is also not in the best of the position. Equalizer just goes wild, and here comes the poking. We've been talking about as Trees just receives 2 Qs in his face from 2 different characters, and here we go. He's Jeskla didn't dodge the shockwave, but dodges quite well enough for SK not to continue on to fight, as Genix manages to push bot lane's tower just a little bit more. And SK just want to try and look for the next Drake, because it's 2 minutes until the Baron, 1 minute until the Drake. You take the Drake, that's the soul point for you. If that's a soul point, it's going to be 29 minutes soul for SK if Astralis are not going to be able to win both of the fights. But are they really? There's a lot of words on the bot side, that is true. SK have really put as much effort as they can to sort of be aware of everything that happens in the bot side of the jungle of Astralis. But on the other hand, Astralis just backed. They don't have the sweepers though. Okay, they do not have the sweeper. The only one that is on the Zanzara and being used right now. They're going to deny just a little bit of vision, but you cannot deny the scuttle crab. And Astralis seem to be able to. Oh, Jeskla catches the W. Astralis are looking for the fight, are they? Oh, that's a big equalizer from Treats as he's going in there. Solar Flare goes a little bit wide, so does the stun from Victor. And a true shot barrage onto Magic Felix. There comes the culling and the death charge, but Zanzara tanks most of the damage, and that's a lot of things invested into the fight already. So is, I think, Zonya's for Treats, as SK looking to try and push a little bit further towards the Drake. Can they do that? I think they can do that, but Zanzara is pretty much able to try and steal it. They're going to be that's a very good hook onto Magic Felix. He's going down absolutely immediately. Also Killer Instinct used by Jezu, and that means SK won the fight. They picked up the kill. They picked up the dragon. Let's bounce away, not do anything. Astralis are not able to actually go for the same maneuver. That Zanzara looks for a... Whoa, that's a teleport from White. No, Magic Felix and White now, but Genix is going down already just because of Zanzara, and White Knight finishes things off with a dragon kick. At least 1-for-1 exchange, even though they've lost the fight for the Infernal Drake. Works. This Lee Sin is already being extremely huge, actually. So that's something that works for Astralis already. 15 seconds rather until the Baron's going to be spawned. SK are looking to try to establish some more control over the top side jungle of Team Astralis. They're going to spot Zanzara and Magic Felix. I think they're not going to wait for anything, and maybe no. Okay, they just wanted to clear the water that I haven't spotted my own self. But Astralis are already here. 2 hours takes a bit of a poke damage, especially because of that True Shot barrage. I think you will be forced a little to back away, but not that much. Okay, some wards are getting cleared. Treats have returned to the base, but he's coming back, and Astralis are not going to go for the cheeky Baron themselves. They decide to rather try and take the mid tower. That almost fell, but not quite. So they're going to take this right now. There's going to be no problem about that. Boom, boom, here we go. And SK, they have to deal a little bit with the out push, but here's that's 2 members of, okay, that's Jessica and Zanzara backing away, but SK, they look to pursue, they look to fight. I think they're looking for the cheeky Baron, and I think they might even be able to do that. They're going to clear the wards, because there's a lot of wards from Astralis as well, but not that much for them to clear. They're not going to spot the ward over here just outside of the Baron pit. SK are looking for... Okay, they're going to spot it now because of the control ward. Are they looking for that Baron? I think that both teams are just sort of dancing around, not sure who's going to be the one to pull the trigger. Here comes Trisha Barrage, goes a little bit wild, not hitting anybody, but now Astralis know that SK haven't started the Baron yet. So that's at least something. Janex is on the bot lane, or at least I think I saw him over there. Yes, he's moved towards the mid right now. And both teams are just sort of dancing around each other, not sure who's going to be the one to pull the trigger. And it seems like SK are going to be the one to pull the trigger. They're clearing the last wards. The wards are cleared. No, they're not going to go and try to fight for this Baron. They respect the amount of damage that Astralis have on their team, so it's better not to do that. That's what they say. Let's not let them go into us. Let's be the one to go into them. That seems to be like the most... the best practice in this time. Ooh, Jezza actually taking a lot of damage from Jeskla, and I think it was something from Zanzara. Ooh, Jezza's onto a very good initiation onto Jeskla. He has to flash away in order not to die, but Jeskla is going away relatively quickly. So does Zanzara, but he's not going to die. The Colin goes not wide, but not able to pick up anybody respectively in the fight, excuse me. And it seems like Astralis might try to look for that Baron. Yes, that was only a support, but at least something, but they're not going to do that because, again, they respect the amount of damage that Astralis still do have. At the very least, that still was a support killed, not a big sort of carry or a damage dealer. So let's not try to force anything. We've got the kill. We're happy with that. The gold gap is 2,000s again, so I would say it's going into the quote-unquote sort of even situation on the 30th minute of the game. Yes, it was precisely 2000s right now. It still is precisely 2000s. And just, again, talking about the poking combination, look at the amount of poke coming. Oh, Zanzara. No, he's not going to go and pick up anybody. Again, talking about the poking composition, look at Jeskla, who's able to poke away his opponents extremely nicely here. The damage from his Q and the True Shot Barrage, most of the times hitting his targets, doing a lot of work in this. Teleport being burned by Genex. I think he's over here right now, and the Solar Flare goes quite wild, actually. So Jesus might be looking for initiation of his own, goes onto White Knight. Here comes a Death Charge onto Promise Q, going to hit Zanzara as well, but there's nothing going to happen. 15 seconds until Inferno Drake is going to be spawned. Here comes an Equalizer, not even close to be wild, and Zanzara is just going down immediately. That's a jungler cut out for Team Astralis, and they have to think about how they're going to fight for that dragon. This is the sole point for SK is going to be if they take the dragon, but they respect the amount of damage from Jeskla and Magic Felix. A lot of poke as they're going to back away just a little bit. W hit onto Jeskla is the Killer Instinct is available for him, but the dragon is going to be reset, but not going to be taken by Astralis. Thanks to Treat, he's going to take that, and the initiation from Jesus is going to a little bit wild. Astralis is still looking to try and maybe force a little bit of a fight, but no, they instead are going to back away. And looking at the pings, I think they're trying to go for the Baron, but so are SK. Both of the teams are actually looking to try and do a Baron power play. Right now, it was a soul point, actually, for SK. They didn't manage to stop them from taking this Drake. And that's a Infernal Soul for SK, which is a big problem for Astralis right now. Zanzara already have respawned. That means he's able to join the fight, but can they actually do anything as much now with the amount of damage coming from that Kai'Sa, Lucian, and the Orianna? It seems like you have to be very, very cautious right now, especially with the dragon soul, the Infernal Soul. And Astralis recognizing not the best of the positions they are in, they're going to back the way. So will SK happily with the dragon in their back pocket. White Knight just taking a little bit of a more farm in the bottom lane, and it seems like both the teams are just gonna silently and calmly reset before the next standoff, I'd say, in the Baron pit. SK are ready to fight. A lot of items on that Orianna. She's huge. She is very scary. and both equalizers and shockwaves are used extremely well by 2 Hours and Treats. So I'm really looking forward to what we're going to see. Australia is going to start with a cheeky Baron. They know Gen X is on the bot lane, and SK have recognized that absolutely immediately, so they're going there because of that ward. They're going to get spotted that they are not doing it quite enough in the time, and they have to back away just a little. They're going to catch Jesus in there, but another Solar Flare going wide. A Promiscue is going down relatively quick, who has to flash away in order not to die. White Knight joins the fight with a wow! White Knight with a brilliant flash and a dragon kick as Jesus is going down, being taken finally by Team Astralis. Again, support is down, but a lot of things are invested already. Magic Felix has to go back in order to reset his health and reset his mana, but SK are looking to continue in the fight. Promiscue has no opportunity to stay there, but a teleport is available for Magic Felix. They are going to restart the Baron yet again. No equalizer, no the culling, no shockwave, nothing is available for Astralis. Not for Astralis, rather for SK, I'm sorry. And it seems like they are capable of taking this Baron with no trouble. Equalizer already on the gone on the cooldown, so it's going to be used by Treats. He's tried to steal the Baron, but he's not able to do that. Although White King is already dead, Magic Felix trying to take at least somebody. Zanzara is going down as well, and Genex looking for Magic Felix, going to take that. And despite the fact that Treats has died, Jeskler is still alive to tell the tale. 4 members of Astralis are down, and they are continuing to look for a very good push on the mid lane, and they will do that as Genex used his teleport. Ooh, Jesus onto the chase! Depth charge! Was casted. I'm sorry again for that cursor, but it was casted. But by Jesus, oh Jesus, I'm not exactly sure. He seems like Jesus to me right now. And Jessica has to be the only man left standing to try and defend the base against through damage dealers and hard carries on SK team with an Inferno. So we will be able to do that. I'm not exactly sure. Genex is going there quite widely to Zhonya's, or rather Stopwatch is being burned. But here comes Promiscue to bring him down with a stun, but still Genex manages to find a kill onto Jeskla, and Astralis are now the ones that are trying to chase them down. Viking is there, Zanzara is there. Here comes another death charge onto Zanzara, a dragon kick onto Jesus. He manages to get away as much as he can, but a Sonic Wave is going to bring him down with being chased. At least 2 kills for SK, as not for SK, but for Astralis rather, as they're going to try and fight for that. This Baron fight was extremely interesting. You can see how much damage did White Knight took, but a brilliant shockwave again from 2 Hours manages to pick up the kill and also take down Zanzara. Treats is going to be taken by Jeskla, but it doesn't really matter, even though bodies flying everywhere. Most of the time, these are bodies of Astralis. Now they're looking to try and fight for the Elder Drake. This might be a most crucial point for both of the teams, as they have a lot of potential to fight in those team initiations and team group fights. Still, it seems to be more favorable for SK, as we've been talking about. This composition is very strong in fighting, actually. In those team fights, and ooh, look at the damage from that W with Inferno so onto Jessica. That's quite a lot, but still, as we were talking about, and with the help of the Elder Drake, SK are going to be able to fight even harder for everything that you can see over there. And Astralis seems to be the one to try and pull the trigger. Not a lot of damage coming onto Cheats because he used his shield to absorb the damage from that True Shot Barrage. Equalizer goes a little bit wild, going to take Magic Felix just a little chunk of his HP, but they're still on the run. SK, they have Genex with the Guardian Angel though, and Astralis need to try and fish for that fight. 10 seconds until the Drake is going to be spawned. Both of the teams are being very tensed and eager to start the fight. White Knight is not able to try and find some good Sonic Q initiation. Does not have the flash available, but I'm still pretty much sure that he has a ward to try and King Jezza out of the fight. Zanzara is going to start the Drake. Actually, Astralis is going there, and they're really aggressively, and White Knight with a very good flanking position. Here comes, Kaiser's just got eliminated from the fight, and Astralis are looking to continue. They're looking to extend, but Genex goes with his culling a little bit wild. Jesus is not being picked by Astralis, but they have took a lot of beating White Knight is the man for Astralis right now to turn all the fights around. Shockwave is still available for 2 hours, so keep that in mind as we are going to see some more fighting. White Knight rejoins the fight with the amount of damage that he has taken. Genix decides to not stick in there for a little bit longer, decides to push instead, than rather fighting for the Elder Drake. This probably has fallen already into Astralis' hands. Jesus is going to rejoin the fight, but is it going to be a good idea? I'm actually not exactly sure so. Managed to escape with his hook, but now Astralis are in control of the Elder Drake, and they can try to fight with SK much more efficiently now. And just look at this brilliant play. I mean, I was so stunned. I wasn't expecting the amount of boom. Here comes the kick. Boom, here comes just everything from everybody. And Jazzo is taken down immediately, even though Equalizer finds a lot of damage. The sculling went quite wild. Not able to pick up anybody, and SK, they have to think about their fight right now. It's 40 minutes into the fight. The gold is just even, so both teams are looking even in terms of itemization, in terms of gold, in terms of everything, really. Stopwatch being used by Promise Q. Why? Okay, that was a very unfortunate mistake from him, but again, speaking about this, SK had this big advantage in terms of team fights because of the composition that they have. Now Astralis don't care about that, because with the amount of damage that they do possess already, they can go and fight, because they can finish off their opponents much more easier right now. So Astralis, they need to try and find those opportunities to go in and fight. They're going to have this Elder Drake for 1 more minute, so they can try to extend it to take the Baron, although I think that the Baron is not so efficient for them right now as it is the Elder Drake, because they have a better way to actually... Ooh, Genix is almost going down already, see? That's something that we've been talking about. Trusho Barash is going to get him down. He's going to get resurrected, but he's going to be probably immediately stunned, and he's going down by Magic Felix already. And Astralis are looking to continue on to the fight. Zanzara is maybe actually going down. There's a good shockwave from that Orianna, but he's not going to go down, not yet. The turret has been taken by Magic Felix. A very good Equalizer, not going to get Zanzara down, though. They're going to retreat. They've taken the lane. They've taken Genix. It's good enough. Let's take the Baron. That's what they say. And they're going to take the Baron, I think, with a relative ease. It's still 20 seconds until Elder Drake is going to despawn from them. They're going to start the Baron. Maybe not that much. White Knight is still looking for a good way of initiation. White Knight, I think he didn't get spotted by this W, but this Baron is definitely going into the hands of Astralis. SK realize, okay, they still have the Elder Drake, and they're going to have the Baron buff. Let's maybe not try to force the fight. 40 minutes into the game. Both teams are looking equal in terms of resources that they have. SK now a little bit in a sort of lead, I would even say. Why? Because the Baron buff is indeed huge for Astralis. Nothing to be doubting about. But it's not the thing to help them to actually execute their opponents with the Elder Drake that they had. You could see there that Genix wasn't even saved. Ooh, True Shot Barrage going on to Genix. Whoa! Look at that damage onto Genix! He already actually has to reset. This Ezreal is hitting hard as a tank right now. Jesus might be actually looking to try and initiate the fight onto Zanzara, but Zanzara is not going to get caught, even though he was get caught and get punished quite a lot in the game. Only 3 deaths on him. Relatively nicely. 14-14 in terms of the kills in that game, and another turret being picked up by Astralis. They look to expand the push, and they will be able to do that. That's a very good, actually, both the culling and Equalizer. Zanzara is half HP down, so is Jeskla, but they are going to be able to re-heal themselves back up. So Astralis are looking to try to engage even more onto that push. A good hook finds both White Knight and Jessica with the death charge, but Jess is going down extremely quickly. White Knight re-engages from the fight, and Astralis are looking to continue with the siege onto SK's base. Not exactly sure if they're going to be able to do anything right now, as SK have reset. They are ready to try and fight one more time, but without Jesus right now. There's not a lot of ultimates available for Astralis, so you could try and think about, another equalizer goes a little bit wilder than the previous one. Jiza has to goes Golden Shockwave, goes absolutely wild. Jiza, even though he took down Promiscue, but I don't think they can fight any more. Astralis opened up the Nexus. They are taking down the Nexus, and they are taking this extremely back and forth game. Oh, and Cesaro was even fighting with a damaged hand. I think his hand is broken. Well done by Astralis. Relatively nicely played by SK as well. There's a lot of moments that you can say, okay, this was pretty close. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me with the second match of LEC 2021 Summer. This was Astralis against SK, and I'm going to see you in the next fight. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much and goodbye.